Pokemon TCG Pocket has hit the Pokemon community by storm. Everyone is opening up packs and battling all around the world. As y'all probably know if you play the game, pulling rare cards such as EX cards can take a long time to do. Even if you are saving pack points, a regular EX card costs 500 points to purchase. That seems to be a slight issue, since it seems like every time I go into battle, I seem to be going up against decks that have 2 to 4 EX cards every single time. Even though EX cards seem to be the meta right now, there are certain decks that can hold their own against meta decks that don't even require an EX card in them. In this video, I'm going to be going over 3 of my favorite decks that do just that. I'll be explaining what cards you need and the style of play that I use when I play that deck. Also, since a new expansion released just last month, I will be including changes I made to these decks with the newly added cards. Alright guys, my name's Octopus and you're in Octopus's Garden. Let's get started. Number 1, Ninetales and Rapidash deck. The Ninetales and Rapidash deck was one of the first decks I made when starting the game. The deck is simple to make and understand. My deck variant consists of 2 Vulpix, 2 Ninetales, 2 Ponytas, 2 Rapidash, a Growlithe, and a regular Arcanine. Out of those Pokemon, the highest rarity is the Arcanine, which is just a regular holo. All the cards can be found in Genetic Apex, however I did switch out the Genetic Rapidash for the Mythical Island version. I'll tell you why soon. My trainer card loadout is 2 Pokeball, 2 Blaine, 2 Professor's Research, 2 Sabrinas, 1 Potion, and 1 Speed. I know it might be supporter heavy, but most of the Pokemon can either be taken out with 1 or 2 moves if the opponent sets up. So I only run 1 potion, and since all the retreat costs are low, except for Arcanine, I only run 1 speed. Alright, time to go over the Pokemon moves. Vulpix and Ninetales should be built on the bench. This is because Vulpix knows Tail Whip, which is a coin flip whether or not the opponent can attack, and with 50 HP, it's an easy target to take out. Ninetales is the powerhouse. Flamethrower does 90 damage and only requires 2 energies to use. However, after you use it, you must discard an energy. This doesn't really matter in most cases because if you have the Ninetales out, you're already going for the kill. However, I like leading with Ponyta and Rapidash. Ponyta's Flare does 20 damage and only needs 1 energy, and Rapidash's Firemane does 40 damage, which only needs 1 energy as well. I switched up the deck a little bit and replaced the Genetic Rapidash with the Mythical Rapidash. This is because for just 1 more energy, you can use Rising Lunge. The attack does 40 damage, and for a successful coin flip, can do an extra 60 damage. That's 100 total, and that's a good deal. Growlithe and Arcanine are a last resort basically, and can be changed out and swapped out with any other colorless type Pokemon. Growlithe and Arcanine should be built on the bench if possible, and can be set in to do massive damage with Heat Tackle. However, you do hurt yourself using the move, so use it with caution. Basically, the setup can be complete after 4 turns. You are doing damage immediately, which can spook some opponents, especially if you are damaging their precious EX cards. The Blaine Supporter card will add 30 more damage to Ninetales or Rapidash, which will allow them to KO almost any card. This deck does really well against grass decks, especially that Celebi EX deck, but it can hold its own against most decks except for the water. The deck is easy to build and easy to use if you have been playing since release. You might have every single card already, honestly. If not, just fill the rest with pack points and call it a day. Number 2, the Koga deck. This deck took me the longest to get for whatever mathematical probability reason. This deck focuses around the Koga Supporter card. It allows you to put an active Muck or Weezing back into your hand. This means you can take a Weezing that has 30 HP left, and you can just pull it from play, swap in a bench Pokemon, which can still attack, and rebuild the Weezing by playing the Coffin on your bench, all in the same turn. It's basically a get out of jail free card. My deck consists of the following Pokemon: 2 Ekans, 2 Arbok, 1 Grimer, 1 Muck, 2 Coughing, and 2 Weezing. All these Pokemon can play off of each other decently, but I would say Weezing is the most important. This is because it has an ability called Gas Leak. Gas Leak can poison the opponent's active Pokemon for free once a turn, and poison can only be healed if that Pokemon retreats or goes back into the bench. So you can have the opponent switch out Pokemon or force them to leave them in, taking extra damage every single turn. Weezing only needs 1 energy to use Tackle as well, and has 110 HP, so not only is it tanky, it's super easy to just start doing damage. Now with Weezing built, Arbok and Muck can just go in for the kill. Arbok can use Corner, which does 60 damage and traps your opponent's Pokemon in the active spot. If the Pokemon is poisoned, it's not getting healed. If you have the Muck build, it knows Venoshock, which does 70 damage regularly and does an extra 50 damage if the opponent is poisoned. That's 120 damage. That's a good deal. So basically, you play around with the idea of the poison aspect and the retreating aspect, depending on how the match is going. Here are the trainer cards that I use. I use 2 potions, 2 X speeds, 2 Pokeballs, 2 Professor Research, and 2 Koga. I think this deck stands up to most decks because you can pick off the most basic and stage 1 Pokemon pretty easily if you have an Arbok build. If you have the Koga ready in your hand, you can combat high HP EX cards easily. Did I mention that this deck is also Dark type? So guess what? You know the annoying Mewtwo and Mew EX decks? Well, you'll slaughter them, just like sheep. The Koga deck does rely on you to make smart plays with what you have, but once you understand it, it's very fun to use. Last one, number 3, it's going to be the Dragonite deck. Alright, so this deck is for whoever likes the stall game. Dragonite takes a minimum of 4 turns to play and requires 2 different energy typings, water and electric. So in this game, you don't get to choose, it's just going to randomly choose for you. So you're not guaranteed an alternating water, electric, water, that kind of stuff. Due to this, the Pokemon surrounding Dragonite are used to stall for at least a few turns. But once your Dragonite is built, it will obliterate absolutely everything in your opponent's battlefield. Dragonite knows Draco Meteor, which will choose one of your opponent's Pokemon at random 4 times. Then it will do 50 damage each. That's 200 damage. That's a great deal. Paired with 160 HP, using this move twice generally wins the game. Here are the Pokemon in my deck. We got 2 Froakie, 2 Frogadier, 2 Greninja, 2 Dratini, 2 Dragonair, 2 Dragonite, and 1 Snorlax. Greninja pairs well since it has the ability that can be used from the bench, which is called Water Shuriken. This ability can do 20 damage to any of your opponent's Pokemon. You can always be doing damage to your opponent whether or not it has energies attached to it. I also have Snorlax as the perfect stall. With 150 HP, this chunky boy can survive for almost 3 to 4 turns, which is perfect if you pull pretty good and can build the Dragonite right then and there. The only problem is the retreat cost of 4, but generally your opponent will try to KO it instead. Other variants I have encountered use Kangaskhan or Drudidon. Let's say that, everybody. Drudidon. We'll get it right one of these times. Kangaskhan has a high HP and can use Dizzy Punch, and it can do a decent amount of damage with luck. And Drudidon's Rough Skin does 20 damage whenever it's attacked. Drudidon also has a move that can do 90 attack, but it requires a fire energy, which would make the odds of getting everything you need for the Dragonite more difficult. It's just used for the Rough Skin. The deck is heavy on Pokemon, so there are less trainer cards. Here are my items. 1 X Speed, 2 Pokeballs, 2 Professor Research, 1 Leaf, and 1 Sabrina. Stall is the name of the game, so you need the Pokeballs and Research to get what you need to start the stall. I added Leaf to help retreat if I need to, especially if that Snorlax is in. And you can't go wrong with Sabrina. Since Dragon typing doesn't have a weakness, it's good against almost any deck. And with Draco Meteor dealing 200 damage, it can clear out most EX cards in 2 turns. 1 turn if you're lucky. The downside is the rarity. Dragonite, Snorlax, and Greninja are all 3-star rarities, so they are difficult to pull and require more pack points to purchase. If this deck is something you would like to try, I would recommend using the Wonder Pick option. This helped me complete the deck since I couldn't pull a second Dragonite or Dragonair to save my life. So there you have it, guys. Those are my 3 favorite decks to use without using an EX card. They're all fun to use and they all have different unique playing styles, so it shakes the game up just right. Down in the comments, let me know what your favorite deck is that doesn't require EX card, or I guess put in what your favorite thing is, favorite deck to use. If you enjoyed the video, please consider hitting that like button, or even better, being subscribed to the channel. We do anything Pokemon on this channel, whether it be video games or pack openings. We try to do it all. Anything's free game. Our goal this year is to do 1 video every week, and basically to get to 200 subscribers. We're not too far away, so I appreciate all the help and all the help so far. It's been a lot of fun. Alright guys, my name's Octopus. You're in Octopus's garden. Have a great one wherever you are. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace. Dragonite takes a way too aggressive. You're scaring off people at this point.